Rozen Maiden. I'll admit that I was quite skeptical at first about watching it. The idea of these living dolls, well, I guess the idea of watching a show about dolls in general seemed a bit too childish for me. But I decided to open my mind and watch it, and I'm glad I did. The show centers around a young boy called Jun and his crippling internal issues and anxiety, until these living dolls known as Rozen Maidens invade his life. With his life at risk, he joins forces with a Rozen Maiden called Shinku to take part in the Alice game, a game where Rozen Maidens have to fight head to head so that one of them can become the perfect doll, Alice. One of the strongest things that this show has to offer are the characters themselves and the development that they go through as the story progresses. These Rozen Maidens all have internal issues, whether it be loneliness, distrust,
manipulation,
and imperfection. Each of these Rozen Maidens have a range of possible relatability that you could possibly empathize with. Within this wide range of cast, I'm sure that there is a character or more that you will love. The main character has the greatest of changes. He goes from being unwilling to do anything with his life to being a decent person who can be relied on. The journey of his character development is very satisfying. When you go back to the early episodes, it got me impressed. No, fuck! What was this? When going back to the earlier episodes, it got me impressed when seeing the changes that he has overgone. On a lighter note, the voice acting is on point. The voice actors did a fantastic job bringing these characters to life, really bringing out the bright colours in each of their personalities. My favourite would have to be Soseki. She is the character that I enjoy the most because I find her attitude and dialogue with the other characters to be the most enjoyable. Also, the soundtrack has a very fitting tone as well as an addictive opening and ending. I find myself listening to these tracks a lot. Take a listen. Sorry, that was a misclick. I'm sorry about that. For the most part of the show, it takes place within Jun's home and his bedroom. However, what really stands out are the Enfields, places where the Rozen Maidens go to fight one another. These Enfields are physical manifestations of people's inner thoughts and are all very different to each person, as they are heavily influenced by their personalities and feelings. My favourite would have to be Jun's Enfield. I really like how surreal it looks. I like the visualization of all these old and forgotten computers. Fuck off. Left behind. Like some sort of dump where worthless things just linger for what could be forever. It also is themed around his school, which is a very effective way of showing his current mental state. And now, time for the criticisms. Don't get me wrong, these things aren't really that big of a deal in my opinion, but still, this show has issues in places, like any form of media, let's be real. The animation is quite standard for what you'd expect from a series released in 2004. Nothing groundbreaking. The fight scenes at times feel inconsistent, as though the power scaling of the Rozen Maidens are contradictory at times. One moment a character be very powerful, clearly overpowering the enemy, and then a weak simp for plot convenience. The art style was pretty dated, and seems very similar to other shows released in that time period. It doesn't seem as stylized, unique, and distinctive as the 2013 sequel series, which we will not talk about on this channel. The substance of each episode usually varies from meeting a new doll, the Alice game, or a filler, which can make the 12 episodes seem too short for progression to happen. The filler episodes consist of the dolls playing around, or interacting with one another, or pushing some sort of life lesson, like why you shouldn't tell lies, or something on the lines of that. Nothing too trivial to the progression of the story. I personally thought the dialogue between the characters still made it a joy to watch. My biggest disappointment in the show is that I don't believe there were enough episodes. The 12 episodes in Season 1 just went by so fast. I finished it within a few days. Season 2 also had 12 episodes, so it also suffers from the development potential. But we'll talk about Season 2 in a bit more detail another time, perhaps. This show has its ups and downs. I rate this a out of 10.